surgery. So I think that this is good for everybody just because it's not a quote unquote a diet. It really is how you're supposed to be eating genetically. And while the basis of it is blood type, it really is not a blood type diet. It is definitely a customized genetic based diet.
So can you give us a little background for those people who don't know about the blood type diet? Can you give us a little bit of background about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the oldest blood type is type O, and the diet profile for a type O really should be that you should be a meat eater. So your genotype or your customized the way that you should eat is because you have a high amount of hydrochloric acid or stomach acid, and this acid is used to break down the meat. So if you think about blood type O as hunters, right? So we used to hunt for our food. And even if you weren't putting it over a fire and you were eating it raw, you would need that enzyme to actually break it down. So that is your blood type O profile, diet profile, right? And then blood type A came after O, where we started to become more of an agrarian society, and we used to farm and pick our berries and those type of things. But as we did that, the acid in the stomach started going down. So those blood type A's should be vegetarians in the blood type when we think about blood type diet, because they don't have enough acid to break the meat down in their stomach. Blood type B was next, and it's kind of like, okay, as we evolved, we started becoming more nomadic, so we don't have to just sit and farm. We don't have to hunt for our food either. These are the people who are more nomadic, and we think of them as balanced omnivores. They can have a little bit of everything, but they can't have chicken and they can't have corn. It's really detrimental for their health, but they're a balanced omnivore. And then blood type AB was next. And so you share an A allele and a B allele. So it's a little bit mixed diet in moderation. They can have a little bit of A, a little bit of B, but they can't have the chicken and the corn either. So that's blood type diet in a nutshell. So I'm incorporating a more deeper dive into their genetics. If they have what's called a methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase enzyme mutation, SNP is what we call them. There's certain different genetic markers that we can test for, and I can put that into the computer system and account for that. So that MTHFR gene that I'm talking about says that you don't methylate very well, you don't make the axiform of folate very well. We know that that is associated with insomnia, fertility issues, ADHD, ADD, OCD, those type of things. And so I can put that in, and once the computer recognizes, oh, there's a deficiency in this, I need to increase foods that have folate.
Okay. So you might, so the way you might target the diet for the particular patient has to do with, things that they might not be as good at making, or, there might be foods that are have an adverse reaction with them. And so, you make extra effort. And there might be genetic things that don't have to do with diet, like, perhaps with sleep, there might be other things that they would do. Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
So and for example, like my patients that have diabetes, a lot of them are on metformin, and we know that metformin decreases the B12 levels. It depletes your B12 levels, right? So if I put metformin into the computer program, it will automatically start increasing the foods that have B12 for that patient. If they have cancer and I say, hey, this patient has cancer, we're going to populate foods that are anti-carcinogenic for them to increase. And we're going to tell them the foods, hey, if you eat this, this is really helping the cancer to survive and grow and thrive.
So the type A, I think she generally ate like one big meal and, OMAD, and, she did really well with it. And she didn't feel like she was having any difficulty digesting the meat. Cause I wondered, does she not have enough acid? Like, does she need to eat smaller meals? Does she need to use more salt?
So I have a couple of patients that are blood type A. And so this is where we get into doing a little bit more heavy testing. When you're a non-secretor and you're a blood type A and there's some certain other markers, So let's say O is here and A is here, it kind of scoots you over to this level.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily that you're a blood type O. I can't change your blood type, but your dietary concerns change a little bit. So I do have a couple of blood types where red meat is actually beneficial for them, like, but it's more of like goat and lamb and the gamier meats that I would think about for them as well. So that would be interesting to note whether or not they're a non-secretor. I don't think that I really craved the vegetables. I didn't. I did really good on the meat. I think I could have prepared a little bit better. I would have liked to have had some more gamier meats. I think that week I had steak. I had some goat. I should have had lamb. I had some seafood. I think I had salmon. I know I had chicken. And I had eggs because I had eggs for breakfast, and we talked about that. And I don't think I had enough fat or something like that. I think I could have prepared a little better. I didn't crave the vegetables, but I did crave the fruit for some reason. That's the only thing that I craved, but I felt good. I felt perfectly fine.
All right, that's great. That's awesome to hear.